So you want to book your first cruise, or maybe you've already booked it, but you still need a little guidance on the ins and outs of the cruise world. Stay tuned. I got you. Hey, it's Nika, and I am here with tips and tricks on how you can cruise like a pro. I am 10 cruises in. I have my 11th, 12th, and 13th cruise already scheduled for 2026, hopefully with more to come. I decided to create this channel so I could share all of me and my husband's travels along with our kids with you. Our next cruise is going to be on Utopia of the Seas in just 19 days, 18 days. I'm so excited. And I want to take you along for that journey. But I know cruising for the first time can be a bit nerve wracking. I've written down some tips and tricks to help you along the way. Alrighty, I'll be referring to my notes here because we definitely don't want to miss out on anything. Pin this video to your favorite so you can circle back. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like, and comment below and let me know if you've already booked or when you plan on booking your first cruise. And if you're a seasoned cruiser, thanks so much for watching. Drop down below any other tips and tricks that you would give first-time cruisers. Let's get started. All right, so you're ready to book your first cruise. The first thing you definitely want to do is plan. Plan ahead. Make sure your PTO is in order if you're working. Make sure that your documents are in order. Research on where you're going and what's required. Most of the time, each cruise that I've been on have only required a birth certificate. If you're going on a closed cruise, leaving from a port, coming back to said port, then you can cruise with a birth certificate. Personally, I have done that. We just got our passports. We had been cruising with birth certificates, but the more we started cruising, the more nervous I got with doing that, just because if something happens, you can't jump back. You can't jump on a plane and get home with a birth certificate. There's going to be a little red tape there, and that's not something I wanted to find out or figure out how that worked. If you have your passport, if something happens, you're able to get home a lot more smoothly. Okay, so make sure you have your documents in order well before it's time to go. And if you already have your passport, make sure you know where it is and that you have the amount of time necessary remaining on your passport so that it doesn't get to your cruise date and you realize my passport's expired or about to. All right, before you confirm that booking, I would research each cruise line individually that you're interested in, as well as each ship within the cruise line once you narrow it down to the cruise line that you want to go with. I definitely have preferences. I might be a bit of I definitely have preferences. I've been on older ships and I've been on newer ships. Of course, I prefer the newer ships, right? I love a stateroom that has a more crisp bathroom, no shower curtains because I don't like when they touch you, right? So I do stateroom tours on each ship that we're looking into booking. And if the stateroom gives me the heebie jeebies over the internet, it's a no go for me. So if it's an older ship, but it's really well kept, then I'm all for it. Let's book. But yeah, so I definitely have preferences there. I also take a good look at the ship tour around the ship, what events and activities they offer, so that I know if it's going to be the right choice for me and my husband, or me, my husband, and our kids. Sometimes we go the two of us, sometimes we take the kids. So that also changes things as well. The two of us, we don't have an issue going on a much more laid back cruise that doesn't have all the water slides and things like that that the kids would really love. So take that into consideration as well. So you've decided which ship and which cruise line you want to go with. Now it's time to book. After you've booked, I would really take my time and familiarize myself with the ship itself as far as the layout and actually, let me circle back. Before you book, one of the biggest things that I research because I'm a little more sensitive to noises. I always look at the deck plans. And before we choose a stateroom, I always book a room that's between other rooms. I don't want to be under the pool deck. I don't want to be under the nightclub. So I book a room that's between room only decks, or that portion of the ship where it's rooms below, rooms above. You can't always guarantee that there won't be running and jumping and screaming, but at least that minimizes the chances of there being for sure noise. Um, so keep that in mind. Now, after you've booked, get familiar with the ship's events, the layout. I do a lot of watching of YouTube. You can also follow people on TikTok that will take you on live. But get to know the ship, what events they have coming up. Download the cruise lines app. On the app, oftentimes the bulk of our cruises have been Royal Caribbean. I believe about 30 or 45 days out, you can start reserving. You can start reserving your spot for certain events. So, for example, we're going on Utopia of the Seas. They have an aqua show. We were able to go ahead and reserve our spots for that. There's no cost for that, but just for crowd control, they do have people go ahead and pre-reserve it, so you don't have half the ship trying to get to one show on a particular night. So if you don't get a reservation in, that is okay. You can still go. Each time they do have people standing waiting for no shows, spots to fill. So I believe they give everyone about 15 minutes to get there, or 15, I think it's 15 minutes to get there. And if you're not checked in, then they start allowing the walk-ins to fill those spaces. So if for some reason you're hearing about this after you've already booked in within that time frame, you should still be able to attend, but it's best to plan ahead. And there were, I believe, 4 shows for this particular sailing that I was able to reserve. There's an aqua show, an adult comedy show, a variety show, and then there was the ice show, the ice skating show. So those 4 I was able to pre-book, and I usually will always book the aqua show and the ice show because those are 2 of our favorites the first 2 days. So for some reason, either of those shows get canceled, then we have a chance still later to jump in one of the shows on the later half of the cruise. So keep that in mind. Also, you can follow along in Facebook groups. For every cruise that I've been on, starting with my first Disney cruise, my very first cruise, I was pretty green. I didn't know what to expect, what I was doing. We just booked with the travel agent and we got on the ship. And then this was a long time ago, so there wasn't nearly as much information out on the web as there is now. So I would look for a Facebook group. Usually, if you're within 8 months of the cruise, you should probably be able to find a Facebook group. If you don't, you can create it. I've created a Facebook group for my cruise before that I booked pretty early and there hadn't been one created. So you can create one, and people that are avid cruisers, for the most part, they know to jump on, search for their Facebook group by the ship name and date. You join the group with other cruisers on that same sailing, and a lot of times you'll have meetups planned, things like that, and it's just really fun to have that communication with others that are going on the same sailing as you. So definitely look into doing that on Facebook. Also, after you have booked, I always do this. I will go back and recheck the rates for the room category that I have. For example, the sailing we're going on Utopia, We originally booked an inside promenade view. Originally, we thought, oh, that seems really cool. Let's give that a try. But the more videos I watched on how many events they have in the promenade and it's like party zone, I got really nervous. Like, I don't think this is going to be real quiet all the time. So, and personally, I love the balcony. It's really peaceful. I love the opportunity to just sit out, look at the water. That is my favorite room category to book is the balcony. So I kept watching the rates to see if they would drop low enough to where it would be without being a ridiculous amount more to move up to a balcony room. So I watched and watched and watched, and lo and behold, the prices went down. I was able to change this from an inside stateroom up to a balcony for $30 more. That was a great deal. But in addition to doing that, you can also just do a Royal Caribbean does bids. They'll offer you a bid. Not every time. I've gone on sailings where I didn't get an offer to Royal up, and I've gone on sailings where I have. I did get one still with this one, but it was no point in me doing it. I paid the $30 easy and got the category that I wanted. The bids are controlled with how little you can offer, and you can go well above the amount. But if you win the bid, they're going to automatically take the money. So I've bid before, but I have not won. I think I've only bid once, and I did not win that time. And this time it just wasn't necessary for me to try to royal up. So I did. If you don't do anything else before your cruise, make sure you get insurance. I would look into the insurance up at the time that you book. You can get insurance coverage with the cruise line. I always book ours separately. I don't have a real reason why. I just prefer to do it that way. I always book it separately. But you can get coverage through the cruise line or on your own. I definitely would not travel without travel insurance. It's just not worth the risk to me to be somewhere and something happen, and then you're kind of having to make a decision like, oh, am I going to get strapped to a board and wait till we get back to the States so I can get medical attention because it's going to cost an arm and a leg wherever I am to get treatment? No. So travel insurance not only is going to be, helpful in the event of a medical emergency, but also if your luggage doesn't make it or if you're ill before the trip. So there's a lot of things to take into consideration there. I would definitely always get travel insurance. This ends my video with tips and tricks for first-time cruisers. I'm sure there's a lot more. And as a first-time cruiser, I'm sure you have a lot more questions than what I've probably answered here. So drop your questions down below and I will be happy to answer them. I will be going live on TikTok on our first day on Utopia of the Seas. And I'll be coming back here, of course, to do a review. So subscribe, keep watching, and stay blessed.